Now, when life is rocked by unexpected loss, the process of grieving can be a roller coaster of emotions, from anger to guilt to confusion and shame. It's the territory that Sally Douglas and Imogen Carn encountered after the two women lost both of their mothers within months of each other. Their grief was only magnified by the difficulties they found while seeking authentic grief support. So they decided to build their own community in the form of the Good Mourning Movement, sparking a podcast and now a book which has drawn from the insights of hundreds of people who've also experienced grief. And Sally and Imogen join us now in the studio. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us today and for opening this conversation, because it's something that a lot of people find very difficult to speak about and don't know where to go to. Sally, it's called The Elephant in the Room in chapter 1. Why do you think grief is considered such a taboo subject?
I think because it shines a light on our mortality, right? Grief and death. It's a really difficult thing to talk about. And I think because we don't talk about grief, we don't know how to approach it when it happens to people close to us. So we feel awkward. So we don't say anything at all. And then it kind of compounds.
So in both your cases, your mums that you lost were only in their 62s?
Yes.
Both of them.
64.
64 for your mum, and that was sudden, wasn't it?
Yes.
So there's no sort of build-up to anything, and so it just happens and you're hit with this immense grief.
That's right, and there's no preparation. So Im and I, we absolutely weren't prepared for it because we don't talk about it, we weren't educated on grief, and then all of a sudden we're grieving and we don't know what to do or how to support ourselves.
Yeah, you said it was quite isolating as well. So what did you do? Because you felt as though Australia lacked appropriate grief support.
Well, Sally and I reached out to a support group, actually, which was quite out of our comfort zone. And, yeah, we met through a support group. So I highly recommend to anyone if they are feeling lonely in their grief, because the thing about grief is no matter how well supported you are, it's really isolating and lonely. And that's something that we were really surprised about, because we had great support from our friends and family. And so Sal and I met through a support group for motherless daughters.
Oh, really?
And then hit it off from there. So
That's fantastic. Now, this has been going for a while, and now you've got a podcast. Yes?
Yes.
Which now led to your book as well, which is...
And your wife did one of the introductions.
She won the podcast as well, yeah. Tell us a bit about the book and the podcast and just kind of how it went from here to kind of here to here.
So Im and I met at a support group. We're feeling really lonely in our grief, and we became fast friends, didn't we?
Yes.
Because we bonded over our shared experience of sudden loss and the fact that we both felt there weren't many resources out there that spoke to grief for our age group, so early 30s, and in a way that was relatable to us. So we decided to start a podcast in September 2020, talking about grief in a really honest way, but with a little bit of humour, because I think we all need that when the chips are down, don't we? And it just went gangbusters. So we had your lovely wife on as a guest, and we found that just people were craving really authentic conversations about grief and what it's really like.
And do you find that people haven't actually dealt with it properly? And have sort of, it's happened, you lose somebody, and then you don't deal with it, and it sort of carries on through your life. Have you seen that with people?
Yes, I think it can be really common for people to suppress their grief. And the thing that we've learnt about grief is it's very patient. And so it's something that we will carry for the rest of our lives. And so it's really important to allow ourselves to process those emotions and thoughts and feelings that can come up so it doesn't come up and catch you by surprise. We call them grief bombs. So if you're out in public and the emotions just take over. But, I think it's really important to process those emotions.
I think what you guys do is fantastic. And for people who find it difficult to go to support groups, it's great to know that it's out there that you can listen to and now you can read through as well. For more details on the Good Morning podcast, head to goodmorning.com.au. Sally and Imogen, thank you so much for joining us today. Thanks for chatting and thanks for opening this platform for people.
And I'm glad you're pushing your way through it.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thanks for having us and talking about an important topic.
Well done. Thank you.
Thanks,
Appreciate
girls.
it.